Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? Long time no talk. As I told you at the end of my last video, I flew on Monday of last week to Cleveland and I was there all week. And work and the time change and all of that stuff did not lead to any videos and any sleep. So when I got home, I was exhausted and unable to sleep and still am not sleeping very well. But that led to no video yesterday. So here I am today to do a book haul of a bunch of books that I picked up and a small portion that I've been given. And also I want to talk to you about the bookstore I did get to visit in Cleveland, because if you go there, I want you to definitely check it out. It is phenomenal. So let's get started. I hope you all are doing well and you have your pen and your paper and your Goodreads out, because a lot of these are going to go on your TBR. So the first book I'm going to tell you about is Before Everything by Victoria Redel. This is out by Penguin, and this was literally a pickup for this cover, which I absolutely adored. And then I read the back, and I was like, the book speaks to me. This is about a group of 5 old women who have known each other since childhood and gone through life together. And the apex of this book is that the oldest, I think her name is Alice, Anna, the trailblazer, the woman who sort of keeps the group together, is going into hospice. And so the group of friends gets together for one time to make these decisions at Anne's home. You know that just about everything in that says this is going to be a Russell book. And then on the back, there's a blurb from Danny Shapiro, who wrote the memoir Hourglass, who I totally think is amazing. So add all that together and you are at Before Everything by Victoria Redel. And yeah, super excited about this one. The next book was a gift from my sister-in-law. A couple of weeks ago, I told you guys my nephew and niece and brother and sister-in-law came along, and she went to a bookstore, Tsunami Books in Eugene, Oregon, which for some reason she has not taken me to, and I don't know, and it's unforgivable. But she wound up picking me up. The Soul of an Octopus, a surprising exploration into the world of consciousness by Montgomery, so 1. And this is actually a nonfiction book that looks into the world of the octopus, which, you know, is such a smart animal and has such a very amazing memory and has all sorts of, I think, fascinating aspects to explore. And I love octopuses. As you guys know, I have a new addition actually to the chair. My friend Philip sent me this, or gave me this actually. Is he not adorable? So, and as you can tell, I have one over here. My husband made this one for me for Christmas. So octopuses are my thing. So definitely excited about The Soul of an Octopus by Montgomery. I think that's going to be fascinating. And thank you, Heather. The next book I got is A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. This is the second book in her series that started with, what is it called? A Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet, which I adored. I can't say too much about this one because I don't want to give away anything that happens in the first book. But I will just say that this is the story of Lovelace, who is an artificial intelligence, and her discovering what her life is going to be like. That's all I'm going to say. If you haven't read the first book, it was nominated for the Women's Prize back, I think, when it was Bailey's. It was fantastic, and I highly recommend it, and I'm super excited to get to this one. Okay. The next book, I don't know why I picked it up other than I think my friend Vix over at the Bilingual Bookworm raved about it. And when I saw it and it was just there on the shelf, I was like, Russell, why don't you own this? And this is, and I can't even say this word, so I'm not going to try. But this is by Jem Lester. And this is the story of a man and his 10-year-old autistic son raising a nonverbal autistic boy when his life sort of goes crazy and he winds up moving in with his father. And what's interesting is the back says this is the story of one boy who cannot speak and 2 men who refuse to. And I think it has a lot to do with family, communication, and what we all mean to each other. And from what I remember, people really raved about this when it came out, and I don't know why I didn't own it until now. So that is, say that name for me, Shtum? By Jem Lester, and I apologize. I tried to, but I couldn't, you know. But this book sounds amazing. Have you guys read it? Tell me all about it. Okay, and I put this one on my Instagram because it was totally a book that, again, I just don't know why I didn't already own. And this is Mr. Flood's Last Resort by Jess Kidd. Now, in the UK, this is out as The Hoarder, but in the US, it's called Mr. Flood's Last Resort. I don't know why. I think The Hoarder actually sounds perfect for the name of this book. This is the story of a young woman, yes, who is a caregiver, but has, you know, a past, as all good books do, of something that happens to her in her youth. And she is put in charge of taking care of Cathal Flood, who is an old, eccentric man who has all these feral cats in his home and all this stuff. And she goes into the house, and it's about their relationship, going through that, how going through all of his stuff opens up all of her stuff. I think it sounds fantastic. I have Jess Kidd's first book himself on my shelf, and I still haven't read it, and I don't know why, because it sounds like she's going to be one of those writers that I just love. And so that's Mr. Flood's Last Resort by Jess Kidd. In the UK, this is called The Hoarder. She is an Irish author, I want to say. Let me make sure that that's true. Yes, she is an Irish author. There you go. Okay, the next book to me was actually sent to me by Riverhead Books when I was sent a copy of Flight, which I will tell you about soon because, oh my God, I'm so excited about it. But they actually sent me a copy of this book, which is already out, and this is Pond by Claire Louise Bennett. And it's translated, I want to say, from the French. Is it translated or was it written in English? Why did I think this was translated? No, why am I thinking this? This book is set in Ireland too. I don't know why in the world I thought that this was a French book. So I totally apologize, Claire. I apologize that I thought you were French, but you're actually Irish. Pond sounds fantastic, though. This is the story of an unnamed narrator. And basically, the way that the book explains it is it's just her observing her life in this small coastal town. And yeah, it's just, there's chapters about everything that she observes. And the writing, I started the first few pages just to pop in, and the writing is gorgeous. And I think it's going to have one of those sort of feels where it's very stream of consciousness and you're learning about the character as she watches the world she lives in. And so that is Pond by Claire Louise Bennett. And yeah, thank you very much, Riverhead Books. I think this cover is phenomenal, by the way. Okay, now we are going to talk about the books that I picked up at Loganberry Books in Cleveland, Oregon. I think it's in Shaker Heights. I think that's the area of town it's in. It is a phenomenal bookstore. I'm telling you guys, if you're going through Cleveland, you have to stop. It has rooms and rooms of books, and the literature section is amazing. So if you want to check it out, go to my Instagram. The link is down below, and check out the pictures that I posted from the literature room. You will be in awe. And I could not help but pick up a whole handful of books. And I started by picking up Outline by Rachel Cusk. Now, I have seen this book everywhere. Everyone has told me that she is a phenomenal writer. And I don't know why I have not picked anything up until now, but I picked up my first one, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be my last. This is a novel in 10 conversations. The main character is a writing teacher who has flown from the UK to Greece to teach a writing class, and every section, I believe, is another conversation she has either on the way or while at the writing center, or in that area. And it is set in Greece. And look at this cover. Look, that just sounds so amazing. It just feels very sort of Virginia Woolfy. And I just think that it's going to be great. And I've heard that all of the books in this series are amazing. So this is Outlined by Rachel Cusk. Perfect. Okay. Actually, I snuck one in here. So this one was not bought at Loganberry Books. This one was actually sent to me by the New York Book Review of Books, who I love. And this is Basic Black with Pearls by Helen Weinzweig. And this was reviewed by my friend Ryan over at The Charming Rant. If you have not subscribed to him, please find him on Twitter. Please, please do. He will blow your mind away. This is set in 1920s, I want to say. This is the story of an adult man and woman who have been having a continued affair. They have sort of this secret language that gets her to him. And one day he doesn't show up and he redirects her to Toronto, and she's from Toronto. And she doesn't want to go back to Toronto because it's too close to home. And as you can imagine, they're both married because it wouldn't be an affair otherwise, right? And as she's back in Toronto trying to find her lover, she's learning about her past and who she is. I started the first few pages of this one when it came in as well. It is phenomenal. My friend Ryan raves about it, and I'm telling you, if he raves about it, it means that you need to read it. So that's Basic Black with Pearls by Helen Weinzweig. And the foreword on this was written by Sarah Weinman, who has done an amazing job. She does a collection of 1940s and 50s women noir mystery stuff that my friend Chris Wolek of the Brook Cougars raves about. So there you go. Pick this one up. I think you will love it. Okay, back to Loganberry books, and the last 4 books in this case. So the next one I picked up was The Idea of Perfection by Kate Grenville, or Grenville. And this says it was the winner of the Orange Prize. So this was the women's prize 2 iterations ago, I think. And this is set in a small town in Australia. We have a female protagonist who is building a museum, and she's a quilter. She's like a quilt historian as well. And then we also have sort of a nerdy, goofy engineer man who comes to town. She's building the museum. He's there to blow up a bridge and do that. And then sort of this weird, I think, going to be very charming love story occurs. I think the cover to this is great, and it was a recommendation by the people that work there. So that is The Idea of Perfection by Kate Grenville. And yeah, super excited about that. I don't read enough Australian fiction. I just don't know why I don't. The next book I picked up because she is a local author there in Cleveland, and that is The Story Hour by Thriti Umrigar, and she has written a ton of books, so I'm sure you guys have probably seen some of her stuff. But this is the one that really spoke to me. This is the story of a psychiatrist who starts treating a young woman who tried to kill herself, a young Indian woman who tried to kill herself. I think that's important because there's some culture aspects to this that come into who this woman is as a person. She's in a domineering relationship, and the psychiatrist goes and decides that she's going to treat her outside of her normal parameters, and their lives become intertwined because I think the psychiatrist wants to empower the young woman. But you know how they never work out the way people intend. So this is The Story Hour by Thriti Umrigar, and it's signed because she's local, and I thought that was really cool, so I picked that one up. 2 more, just 2 more. I had kind of seen this book a little bit everywhere, and I didn't really know much about it. But once I read the inflap of Southernmost by Silas House, I have a feeling this book is going to make me bawl like a baby. I have a feeling. This is the story of a preacher who, after a huge flood in Tennessee, takes in 2 gay men who have been displaced. And he is trying to preach to his congregation and to his wife, who are very, very devout, acceptance and taking care of those in need. And his wife can't handle it, so she files for divorce, and a bitter custody battle occurs between him and her for their son. So he gets in his car with his son and drives to the Florida Keys in search of his brother, who he has not spoken to since his brother came out of the closet, and he disowned him because of he was a preacher and his religious beliefs. And I think it's sort of like a coming to terms with who we are and family and love, and it sounds amazing, and it sounds like it's going to blow my mind. And Garth Greenwell is on the cover, is the blurb. So that's Southernmost by Silas House. Okay, I'm trying to get this one done because here's my last book. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but when I go to any bookstore that sells used and new books, I always look for books by 2 authors, Barbara Pym and May Sarton. They didn't have any Barbara Pym, which was sad, but they had a ginormous section of May Sarton. And this book I picked up is a first edition, first printing, 1961. I want to make sure that that's right. 1961, The Small Room by May Sarton, and this will go right on my shelf. Up here, where you guys can't see, I have a whole section of both of them. So this is the story of a school where the students sort of make all of the drama that is this book, but this is about the faculty. We have one faculty who is like a distinguished scholar, has been there a very long time. And we have a new faculty member who comes in with new ideas, and there is a scandal. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it has something to do with a lesbian student that just shatters the campus. And these two personalities, these two teachers, they clash. But as they clash, things come into, and I'm just going to read this. And when a gifted student finds the price of excellence to be a personal disaster, the two women discover the catalyst they need for understanding. So one, May Sarton, I love her. You guys know this. I've read a lot of books by her, and I'm super excited to have gotten this. This is The Small Room. So I know that this is a little bit longer of a video, but I wanted to talk to you guys and get all of these books in. I hope all of them sound amazing. I want to again apologize to Claire Louis Bennett because I thought she was French and not Irish. I don't know why that happened. But I think all of these books sound phenomenal. Have you guys read any? Let's talk about them below. And as always, if you are a new subscriber to my channel, welcome. I hope you liked it. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I've missed talking to you guys. And as always, until next time, happy reading, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.